The poor creature can't even be properly buried. Why would he do such a thing? Perhaps this is what he wanted. No being wants such a death. No, but few would have wanted his life. This story is a joke to you. One you have heard for a century and a half. For me, this is not humorous. This isn't remotely pleasing. For me, this is my personal hell. And now I share this pain with you. My story will become yours, and you will know why I did what I did. Your century-long question will be answered. There was a sanctuary in the countryside. An old, wooden temple painted a beautiful, faded red. For decades I lived there with my kin, breaking bread and squawking loud tales at each other across our home's common area. The young ones gathered around the elders to hear words of wisdom and exchange loving embraces. The young adults raised their families, provided for them, and gave thanks to their master. For him, we often produced beautifully crafted gifts as a token of our devotion. Always smooth, round, polished. We put work into showing him love. True love is all we thought we knew. We laughed, wept, birthed, and died in that home. Yet through chaos love was our constant. Love kept us strong. Love is what made life seem normal to us. The master will enjoy this present. Right, Father? The shell doesn't have a single scratch. I want him to know I made it with love. It all changed the day we discovered the truth. Our work was not appreciated. The gifts we produced for our master were not enough. He wanted more than to house us and receive our love. He wanted more than our lives. He wanted our flesh. Father, what is he doing to me? Why is his blade upon my neck? That day is forever painted in my mind. A day of bloodshed, of agony. I managed to escape. Without my mate, without my son. Me, myself, and I, against the world. Alone. I journeyed as far from the past as I could to forget the horrors of that day. I climbed over mountains. I treaded through shallow waters. Dying of thirst as flashes of heat singed my now plucked and uncovered skin. I took refuge in caves and under trees. This was my life for an entire decade after the tragedy. In my delusions I saw my wife and son embracing lovingly as they once did. Their absence was both my deterrent and my motivation. Finally, after 12,000 miles of unguided, misguided travel, I reached a small town of few people. There, I found a temporary home. The land of the wild ones. The wild ones were not like us domesticated folk. They walked about with no regard for personal safety, or the safety of anyone for that matter. They simply walked for the sake of walking. Some encircled each other. Others paced. They did not speak, but rather shouted horrible, unspeakable words into the air. The masters of the town sat on their porches, watching this party of nonsense day in and day out. They were amused by the confusion. The wild ones cursed the sun, the hard ground, the god that gave them life without a true master to care for them. These beings were savages. I lived with them and studied them for decades. Why? Because I had nowhere else to go. Because they were what I was slowly becoming. Sanity binds you to reality. Reality is hell. Living as they did prolonged my life. One night, during my crazed paces, a strange girl approached me. She presented her body to me, and proposed a night of unadulterated debauchery to chase away the pain. This was typical behavior of the wild ones. Normally, I would decline. But this night, I accepted, and for the first night since my normal life I felt as if I was truly living. This girl became my escape. And soon, I fell in love for her. Or at least, lusted for her. Nights of debauchery produced a gift. This time, a gift for me. A gift that died. My lust for her lasted until I found her, pecking at the remains of the child we conceived. A little wild one of my own, slain by its own mother. She turned to me after, without a care in the world, offering more intercourse. I strangled her, slowly, achieving vengeance with every emotion of panic and agony she displayed on her wicked face. As she lost the will to resist, my grasp around her neck strengthened. This chapter of my life would end, and the savage would be put out of her misery. Now I forgive her. I understand why she murdered my child. She did not want it to suffer as the living do. Overwhelmed by horror, I realized I had betrayed my original family to be with this murderess. Soon I came to my senses and needed to find my way out. I had heard in my time in this town that nearby there was a large city, full of modern people free of the sins of wild ones. A place of sanctuary in comparison. A second chance. I knew my family would smile down upon me from the heavens if I could regain normalcy. I must make them proud. After 34 miles, I found the city. Things moved quickly here. There seemed to be no time for caution. All traveled by foot, haphazardly walking into danger, yet avoiding it at the last second. The metal monsters whizzed back and forth across the main roads. I thought this land was supposed to be better, and the people would welcome you with open arms and help end your suffering. Instead they ignored me as I begged for help on street corners. Everyone had somewhere to be. I was the anomaly. I couldn't survive in this new world, but I could not go back. I missed my family. I see across the distance a warm shelter for those in my situation. Those who dwell in this city and alien to society. I must reach the shelter. I approach a path. A crossing to take me further down my path of self-destruction. This crossing would be dangerous, almost certainly ensuring my death. I was neither as strong or as fast as these city dwellers. I could not survive the crossing as they could. Approaching the crossing was a difficult task. Not because I was tired of the long journey behind me, but because of the judgment the city dwellers bestowed upon me. They looked at me with confusion and worry. They seemed to pity me. I resented that. They were taller than I expected, or remembered, so say the least, towering over me with concern-ridden faces. I did not wish to deal with them for much longer, and as if God sent them out of my way to answer my prayers, the crowds around me dispersed, leaving me at peace and alone. If there is one certainty of life, it is that it is always calm before a storm. As I approach the threshold, I feel this calm. I know the storm is coming. Soon I will be overwhelmed with grief. Sorrow will take my hand and guide me into the internal void of my mind. The depression will set in. Only death can save me from it. I approach the passage to the other side. The peace now becomes a rage. I know I shouldn't cross. I should find a way around. But all I can see on the other side is my beautiful mate and my handsome young son, waiting for my embrace. Light becomes dark. Hope becomes desperation. I need my family now. I step over the threshold. I hear a voice call out to me. I imagine my mate, cheering me on, pushing me to continue. My son chirping words of encouragement. I take another step. Not long until I reach freedom. The voice calls again. It's closer. Another step forward. I can't help but feel excited. I will find sanctuary. I shall see them again. The voice became a loud, almost steady noise. I am entranced by the crossing of serenity. An entrance to Zen. I continued. The sound of heaven's gate grew louder, and uncomfortably loud. My ears began to swell with the sound. The sound became painful. Tension began to build in my eardrums at an exponential rate. They burst, and my whimsical trance breaks. I turn to my right and see reality for the last and final time. The metal monster is over me, ready to claim my life. I remember nothing after that. I've been told my body was beyond repair after the accident. It exploded, shooting blood, guts, and feathers out onto the black asphalt of the city street. My beak shattered into millions of pieces. But now I'm here, and I am at peace. So now you ask this question every day. And the answer will not surprise you. But consider this next time you hear this answer. A simple sentence is not always a simple answer. Why did I cross the road? To get to the other side.